back here. This is it. This is Channel 8, the local sports network, the Northern Region T20 semi-final. Today is the 6th of February, and two of these teams are competing. One of them will move on to the grand final. One of them will go home. So it's all up to this. It's all up to now. It's all up to this game. We are here at the Loyola Park, a very nice ground in the heart of Bundoora. I am here with Haydos.
It's going to be a fantastic match here. Dom and Creek, as you can see, are batting first there with their alternate kit for these T20s, both with the dark blue and red for their tops as well as the pants. Bundoora United, as you can see, sticking with the white pants but also having their different top there. So, looking pretty conventional field looks like. I'm having a look at it. Nothing overly flash there. They're going to start with, doesn't look like any catching men around where the keeper is.
So it's, well, we aren't able to know because the captain is currently discussing the field with the bowler. So we just got to have to figure out left-handed batsman to start. So we've got point, we've got cover, we've got backwards square leg, we've got mid-wicket, we've got slog sweep, we've got a mid-off. We have, I still don't know what where the captain's going to field, but there's an extra fielder on the offside, so it's going to be a backward point, cover point, deepish cover, mid-off, and then I assume he'll play mid-on. And so it's going to be a 3 protecting one on the leg side, and then 4 protecting one on the offside. Oh, and the backward point is going to third man.
Okay, right there. So it looks like he will be pitching it up there, and that's why they've got the cow corner.
All right, here we go. Ball 1. And drives it back to the bowler for a dot ball.
Nice start there, just keep you up on a good length. These are the protection there straight.
Yes, they're not saving one. You could bunt it and steal a single. And drives it, and it goes to mid-off for a dot ball.
One of the things you'll notice there with these early stages, they are using the pink ball for these formats, as opposed to the red ball which we see for both the 1-day and 2-day formats.
Yes, very good. Okay, comes into bowl and defends it, and he goes for the quick single, but then he has to call it back when he realizes that the fielder at extra cover is too close, so he calls it off.
Probably too hard hands as well there. You probably want to drop it more to the backward point there, force them to scamper onto it.
Comes into bowl and works it away to the leg side, and it goes down to the fine leg region. The fielder chases it, and they're going to come back for 2.
Pretty neat little shot there. With no fine leg there, that gives advantage there for not just being 1 for that shot, but to make that 2 and even boundaries there, depending on the timing there. So it's going to be a risk for Bundoora United not having that fine leg.
Yes, it's definitely a get out of jail shot though to try and hit across the line if you get a few dot balls on you. Comes into bowl, and it's a big swipe, and it goes straight to the fielder at extra cover. Very nicely fielded there. So far there has been 4 dots and just 1 scoring shot for this opening over. Comes into bowl, and oh, it's a wild whoosh. So just the 2 runs off it. It's none for 2, end of the over. Alright, so the second over here, and we've got the right-hander on strike, so everyone's adjusting their field accordingly. And the Bundoora United captain is once again consulting with his bowler about what exactly he wants to happen. And let's just have a look at what they're doing with the field. So third man, point, cover, a second cover that's a bit deeper, a mid-on, a deepish square leg, a slog sweep cow's corner, and then I assume the captain will go into mid-off.
They've also got a fine leg as well by the looks of it, so probably going to be keeping it straight there for the 2 men deep on the leg side.
Alright, here we go, first ball. And pushes it back, and then fielded by mid-on there. So very disciplined start for Bundoora United. They've
kept teams pretty low scoring, as we talked about earlier in the coverage with their run chases, so that's the key to their victories.
Comes into bowl. and drives it, and the two midfielders chase it, and what happened there?
Went straight back into the stumps there, and there was a quick appeal for the run out, but no danger of the run out, of course, and it ended up being a dot ball. So a lot of action there, and it's good for this crowd, which has already got that electric feel to it.
Yes. We can't really see it because they're sitting in the shadows, but there is about 30 people watching this game, mostly sitting down. Comes into bowl and drives it, and it goes to mid-off, fielded there for a dot ball.
What are your thoughts behind a pass score here? You would have thought that perhaps maybe it's a little bit less for a semi-final, but you would have thought still that 130, 140 mark you would need today.
Well, we'll just talk about that after this ball. And drives it, and fielded by Min-on. Well, it's a much smaller ground than definitely the commentary oval is, and also it's much more connected with nature, so the chances of loose leaves and loose dust getting into the AstroTurf and actually making it more rougher grass definitely exists. Comes into bowl and drives it, and it's fielded. Oh, they're going to go for a single, and they get one. Yeah, so in that sense you would say that it's definitely not going to be as bad as Coventry Oval, and it's a very small ground. The square of the wicket is very short, so I would say it would be a 130 would be a par. You have to get 130 to be competitive here.
Seems fair as well, especially with this key batting line for Bundoora, which has been getting the job done week after week in its competition. Last ball of the second over coming up.
Comes into bowl, and oh, it's a wide. I thought there was some sort of play and miss, but no. As we can see on the other side of the ground, there is a large gathering of people around the cricket nets, and then there's also a large gathering sitting at the pavilion as he comes into bowl and drives it. And that's 4. What a shot. And we were right there.
That's the end of the second over. Brian Creek found himself none for 8.
So, the third over of the match. The right-hander is on strike for Diamond Creek, and he leaves it alone, short of a length, a little bit of extra kick. So, let's just have a look at this crowd, and there they are, sitting around, particularly around the cricket nets.
They've got that good atmosphere of the T20 there.
And drives it straight back to the bowler.
Good tight stuff there, nothing that's been overly short there, which is important, especially on these smaller grounds. Once you get short, it can be really dangerous.
Absolutely. Comes in the bowl, and oh, it's a fully, and it's just pushed into the leg side for just the one.
Not necessarily the worst opportunity for a cow corner. You don't want to be hitting that straight down his throat there and losing an early wicket.
Oh, absolutely. This early in the innings, you definitely need to be very conservative when you have the loose ball. It's not like it's giving it the 10th over there. You can do something else. Comes into bowl, and he works it into the leg side, and it's a bit late going for the run for the non-striker, but they make it.
Yeah, a good quick single, and that's what you need, especially in these early overs, getting that scoreboard ticking over. It helps keep things moving along and helps keep keeping track of that pass score if you have one in mind as a team.
Absolutely. So now they've gotten 2 singles so far, Diamond Creek. It'll make Bundoora United think about what their fielding is. And, oh, it's hit the pad, and it's gone down to fine leg region. And the fine leg fielder picks up and throws it in. And let's have a look at the umpire's call. And it is a leg bye. So 2 leg byes there. Technically it's a dot ball for the batsman, but it is a scoring shot for Diamond Creek.
I suppose it's the important thing, especially when you get to semi-final cricket.
Yes. Comes into bowl. Oh dear, bold, 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 bold. That was not a good shot. It was at about middle stump, and he thought that it was on leg stump, so he tried to play the leg glance, but then the ball just moved away from him rather than coming into his pads. It actually left his pads and actually missed the leading edge, and so the batsman is gone. Number 15 for Diamond Creek, the right-handed opening batsman, has been dismissed.
reasonably slow innings there. It ended up being 2 off 10 balls, which I suppose as an opener you still need to survive a little bit of time there, but you would have thought you would like to get close to, say, that 10-run mark. But regardless, it's a big wicket for Bundoora, and end the over, it is 1 for 12.
Okay, so this is the 4th over.
I'll introduce a long on here.
And plays it defensively off the back foot. So, very large gathering around the pavilion. A couple of people sitting there next to the scorecard, having a beer.
That's what Tuesday nights are all about, isn't it?
Comes into bowl. Oh dear, wild swing. Trying to swing it across the line to his favourite shot, which is of course playing it onto the leg side. And maybe a bit of sign of impatience, but the long on is very straight. They will not get a slog sweep catch from that position.
You wouldn't have thought so.
Comes into bowl, and he works it on the leg side, and it goes straight to the square leg fielder for a dot ball there. So, yet another dot ball onto this left-handed opening batsman. We know how good of a stroke maker he is, but will the pressure make him do something untoward? Comes into bowl, and leg glances it. And that has burnt his partner. Hitting it straight to the square leg fielder, and then calling for the one because he had faced too many dot balls for it to be tolerated, and the non-striker did not get to the end, to the striker's end fast enough. He has been run out.
Well, not often you get a diamond duck here, even in these T20s, but well, probably no one in it at the end of the day. If you're hitting to a right-hander's right side, it always gives you the opportunity to get a quick throw in there. It didn't need a direct hit, but you still run the risk there, especially with this high-class feeling of Bundoora United.
And so now you'd have to think, I mean, the two dismissals, one of the dismissals was for a piece of really good bowling, but also bad execution. I think that if you had have tried to straight drive the ball, you wouldn't have gotten bowled. It was a question of bad decision making. And now another wicket's fallen through a piece of bad decision making, not through being overcome through great cricket, just doing the wrong thing at the wrong time.
And it's a good dot ball pressure that Bundoora have gotten to this point that's caused it.
Comes into bowl and drives it, and fielded by the bowler. So for Diamond Creek's game, the only time they've lost was when they conceded a large total, but they've actually defended small scores throughout this competition. Comes into bowl and drives it, and the mid-off fielder has been beaten. And very good running there by the two Diamond Creek batsmen to get an extra run out of that.
Even with the slow outfield, they were still able to get it. So after 4 overs, Diamond Creek find themselves 2 for 14.
Alright, so we've got to change the bowling here. So coming on to bowl with the keeper standing a little bit closer to the stumps. But his run-up suggests that he is still a pace bowler.
Getting a pretty similar feel, except the backward square now on the fence there. It's the second man out.
Comes into bowl. And it's a big swipe.
Just falling short of the boundary there, but that's the problem when you do bowl that full toss. It does open up the leg side, even if you have the 2 men back. Still frees it up there. So, the second boundary of the innings. Diamond Creek starting to get some momentum through.
Absolutely. I mean, that is the money shot. That is the big one, the big cheese shot. You just cannot feed that. Comes into bowl. And it's over the head of the mid-off. And it's going down. 4 more. Well,
the bowling out wasn't particularly great that time. I mean, you've got a batsman who's played the previous ball really well as a full one. You've really got to bring that length back to a good length as opposed to keeping it full.
Yes.
Get your momentum going.
Definitely the safest thing to do would be to bowl something short of a length, because the two drives work through getting underneath the ball. Comes into bowl. And Okay, a very strange play and a miss there.
Probably didn't feel like it was quite right for the drive, and that's a much better length there. Even though the line was a little bit wide, you do have the protection of the cover point, short fine leg and short cover, so you can afford to pitch it a little bit wider.
Comes into bowl.
Roll the wrists, and you should just be the one. Good flat arm.
So now the new batsman is on strike. It's still 2 wickets down. This new batsman has yet to face a ball, and so it's a good chance for Bundoora United to target him to try to eat up the rest of this over, or maybe even let him retain the strike when you think about it.
Well, just 2 balls left in the over, so if they can get a dot in, they may not mind single.
Comes into bowl, and leg glances it. And a throw went straight to the mid-on, and he had a ping at the non-striker stumps, and he missed, so they get the single, which means the left-handed batsman is on strike again for the last ball.
Good result for Damien. If they get a stump for single, means an 11-run over and still on strike.
And leg glances it onto the leg side. This time it goes into the gap between the two fielders, saving one on the leg side, and they retain the strike.
That's the end of the over, and that's the first 5 done. It's 2 for 25.
Alright, so now we've had the change over to bowl now at the pavilion end. I don't know what the other end is called yet, because we don't know the name of that street over there, so...
Over there? Gleeson Drive is that one.
Yeah, but what's the street that's running parallel to the pavilion?
You know what, I'm not local from Bundoora, but I will get you a name in just a moment.
Okay, that's the name of the end. But until then, coming from the pavilion end is some sort of bowler. Let's have a look at what he can do.
Well, I've got your name, the Daniel Court Street.
Ah, so it's the court end. And slaps it. And it's down to mid-off for just the one.
Being now with the breeze there, it's coming straight across from where we are to the club room, so it does favour the lofted drive. Probably could be more hand the last 5 when now going for more maximums as opposed to just the singles.
Yep. So, long on. Oh, so there's long off. Oh, so we got... Comes into bowl. And drives it.
That should go away for 4, and it does there. Pretty short boundary there, square of the wicket there. It's supposed to probably marginally longer down the ground there. Using the pace of the ball quite well and lofting it over. A little bit risky, but certainly well worth it.
Absolutely, that was quite a nice shot, because you have to, as you're making contact with the ball, curve your wrists around in order to get inside it and launch it the way in the direction that you want through the offside. Very, very clever stroke play. And drives it, and this time it's to mid. Oh, now I don't know where that ball went.
Just a bit off, you were actually right on the money there.
Okay.
But toughnly through for the single.
So, for the left-hander there is a short third man, point, cover, deep cover, mid-off, long on, comes into bowl, and drives it.
Well, glancing, that may have gone away for our first maximum.
Maximum?
No, not quite, not quite.
No.
Oh, we know you're a fan of the maximums there, Chukka, but that's fantastic manipulation of the field there. It's got some fantastic drives. Manipulated the field to have 3 on for the drive, and suddenly just rolled the wrist there and glanced it over square leg. So, you have to make him feel about the field.
Comes into bowl, and goes for a charge, and slaps it, and it's going... That's it!
And it's a maximum!
That's a maximum. You just cannot afford to bowl it a half volley on his legs, allowing him to get underneath it to launch one of those incredible sort of long on slog sweep sort of shots.
With the bowling, probably a little bit one pace. You've already been hit for 2 boundaries, and it might be an idea just to take the pace of the ball, maybe run it for an off cutter, but kept the same pace and got punished.
Comes into bowl and drives it. And it goes, that's a dot ball.
So that's the end of the 6 over. 14 off that one. Damien find themselves 2 for 39.
Alright, so for the second over at the pavilion end, is it going to be another medium fast to medium pace bowler?
Yeah, sticking with the same bowler as they did for the last over here at the Daniel Court end.
Yes, I'd have to say that in terms of trying to create a change of pace, just bowling medium to medium fast all the time is not the smartest thing to do. Comes into bowl, and it's a wild whoosh.
Well, that's the idea. You've got to get with a bit more pace there. More towards to a fast medium as opposed to a medium fast there. At least that way you can beat the batsman for pace as opposed to just pure luck.
Yep. And for this batsman, there is just the two fielders on the deep, who are both on the offside. Comes into bowl, and leg glances it.
That's going away towards the cow corner boundary, and that's another boundary there. Again, not great bowling there. When they had the cow corner there, you could probably afford to be on the pads there, looking for the LB, because that at worst is going to be one, but they've taken out the cow corner now, and suddenly you find yourself vulnerable in that area.
Alright, comes into bowl and cuts it, and it goes down into the deep cover area where they scoop it in and they just get the one.
That's better bowling, finding that much better length there for that one. Although the change of strike especially does suit Diamond Creek, just that change of left and right hand, it can certainly be frustrating for any captain. You've been through that plenty of times, haven't you, Chukka?
Yes, yes. Comes into bowl, and another play shot onto the leg side. This time good fielding by the fielder at the backwards, wait, that's a fine leg, so the short fine leg fielder secured that one for just the one run, and they've gone back to their field, so there's three on, so short third man, deep point, deep cover, deep mid, long on, long off. So four on the fence, or four deep, and then a very ugly shot across the line. Oh dear.
Not sure what the option of the single was for there. Nothing obvious in terms of single, and there's certainly no rush with Diamond Creek with all the momentum, especially in these last 3 or 4 overs. Just need to make sure they hold their wickets, especially for the next 3 or 4.
Yes, definitely. Comes into bowl, and it's a draw, and it's an aggressive charge down the wicket, and
that's a fantastic boundary there. Important to use your feet in this form of the game there. You certainly don't want to be kept on the crease there. Making sure you put the bowlers off there. But that's the end of the 7th over here in this North Region T20 semi-final. Diamond Creek at 251.
so we've got a new bowler coming on, and it looks like another pace bowler. The keeper's standing about the same position he has, and the left-hander is on strike, so deep fine leg, short deep fine leg, short deep third man, long on, long off, cow's corner. So 3 on the fence, and then 2 others who are deep, but the rest are saving 1.
So Bundoora sticking to the seam as they've gone through these stages there, although might have been time for a potential tweaker.
Comes into bowl and drives it to mid on for a single.
So we look at these deliveries so far. It's the second delivery of the over. It's caused 3 boundaries so far, although the third's caused 0 boundaries so far. So it's interesting seeing how it's just that second ball of the over where the whole over gets set for the batting team. Diamond Creek can use the boundaries away.
Oh yes, that's the advantage of when you score a boundary early in the over, because you're ahead of the count and you can afford, if a double has to happen, you're not stressed out about it. Comes into bowl, and a wild shot across the line, and he is out. Out, LBW.
Well, we put the curse on him, the commentator's curse there, but look, it was a fantastic partnership. You still need to go for those ones. We've only normally 3 on the leg side there in this inning so far. Still need to try and hit on the leg side, so not a bad option, but unfortunately just wasn't executed.
Oh yes, it was definitely the right sort of shot, because obviously the Bundoora United players were trying to clog up his best shot, which is to move it onto the offside, forcing him to play into the leg side. And so you'd think the smart thing to do would be to manipulate the field by hitting onto the leg side, and then they would have to rethink their entire tactic and have to then expose gaps on the offside, which then you can hit boundaries for. So there's nothing wrong with it from a batting strategic point of view. It's just he missed.
That's half the value, isn't it, in cricket? Sometimes you just got to hit the ball.
So, 3 down, and certainly this is not panic time because there's only 20 overs and you're only 3 wickets down. So, in terms of losing wickets per over, it's nothing to worry about just yet. But
Damien Creek also do back quite deep as well there, so they'll back themselves in.
You've got someone like Lachlan Devine batting at number 9. Like, that's someone who bats 3 for the for the 2s. Like, that is a long batting lineup.
Exactly right there, so they should have full faith in them and should certainly keep going at least at this rate.
Comes into bowl, and it's a down the leg side and it's a wide.
That's one of the things to keep in mind there in this form of the game, that down the leg side will be called wide. Not like during the 2 or 1 days where you might be able to get away with it.
Absolutely. This crowd is very big. I think it's 50 or more now. Comes into bowl.
That's going to come towards us here down the 5 leg. It should hold up though inside. It'll come back for 2. Throw comes in. Right over the barrels. Nice as well. Still taking things along nicely, but yes, fantastic crowd there. Really is one of the more dynamic forms of the game here, the T20.
Absolutely, and it's on a work night and a school night. Very, very good considering the circumstances.
Another single there, just knocking it down the ground. That's one of the advantages as well that Damien Creek have done, is they've gotten that momentum there with that 3rd wicket partnership. It means the field's still out even for your number 5, so they can still knock it around, get your innings well and truly going with plenty of overs to go.
Absolutely. This is only the 8th over, I believe.
You're exactly right.
So there's still plenty of time. You could worry about it in 15 more minutes time before you have to actually get concerned about what you're doing. Comes into bowl and comfortably works it down to long on for a single. Easy as you like.
It will be important though to make sure that they do hold from either your number 5 or your number 6. You certainly don't want to rely on your opener having to bat the full 20 there. You want him certainly to go beforehand when he's at his physical peak and certainly got the most eye in.
Comes into bowl and works it onto the leg side, but fielded there by the mid wicket for a dot ball.
So off that particular over, we had 6 runs off it. Damien Creek find themselves 357.
Okay, so this is the beginning of the 9th over, and let's see.
Sticking with the same bowler as who bowled the previous one.
Except he's coming off a much shorter run-up. Coming off just a very dawdly run-up, but the keeper is still back. So he's going to go off his short run, a bit Wasamakaram-like. And
that's gone a long way. That is going to go, well, not quite into the baseball nets over there. That's still a fantastic hit there. Reasonably long boundary, not quite as long as the straight ones, but still got onto it quite comfortably.
Yeah, once again, once you get underneath it, and you have all that forearm strength, I mean, you can just send it flying. Comes into bowl and works it off his toes into the leg side, and the fielder at mid-wicket runs around to save it.
So it's that second ball the over. That's the 4th time they've gotten the boundary in the second ball the over. I'm not too sure if you can do too much different from a United point of view, but certainly something they've got to keep an eye on.
Yes, obviously you have to figure out a way to get in front of the count so that the batsmen have to think about what they are going to do. The 4th, 5th and 6th ball, which is when the pressure is up, oh, we have only scored a couple of runs this over, what are we going to do? That's when you can get a bad shot and a wicket.
Comes in. This one's short, and has that carried? Not quite. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the wicketkeeper there. Seemed to be quite clean, didn't seem to be a fumbly sort of effort there, but a good dot ball and half a chance there.
Yes, absolutely. Oh, he comes into bowl again. And he inside edge onto his pads and the ball dribbles into the covers harmlessly.
This is one of the advantages of the short run-up. You can certainly hustle on new batsmen if they haven't quite got their eye in.
But the keeper's still standing back, so that means the batsman still has the opportunity to charge. Comes into bowl and leg glances it, and it's the fielder by the mid-on.
Neatly fielded there. So after 9 overs, Damien Creek find themselves now 3 for 64.
Okay, so this is the, what is this, the 10th over?
You're exactly right there.
So this is the 1 over to go, and then we're halfway through.
Could be a good option for Bundoora to have a look at their bowlers who are going to be hitting against the wind for the straight hits. Like that one, hitting with the wind is going to go comfortably over. That one was actually into the baseball area there, so really important they get their bowlers right who are going to be bowling at the pavilion end. I think they can afford at this Daniel end here to maybe go with their more medium paces.
Comes into bowl and leg glances it straight to mid-wicket. I do not understand what they're doing. They should be attacking this batsman's offside play because it's not as strong as his leg side play, but they're doing the opposite. They're feeding his strength. Comes into bowl and cover drives it into the covers, but mid-off stops it. Like, they've got 4 fielders saving one on the offside, so they can't afford to bowl it outside the off stump because he'll hit it over them. And so they have to bowl it at his pads. And he leg glances it, this time to mid-wicket for a dot ball.
One of the tactics that some captain uses is actually to put men out at the sides he's not going to hit and actually encourage the ball to bowl to those areas. So perhaps have a deep point and bowl wide outside off.
Comes into bowl and
will fall short of long off, and a little bit of a fumble. It probably just cost the one there. No chance of catching it, so you wouldn't have thought it would be a dive, but didn't read the spin as it was a little bit sliced.
So you would give a 1 to the Andrew Simon system?
Exactly right there. Have you been watching much of that form of the T20, or have you been into this stuff?
I've been too busy, you know, Channel 8, the local sports network, is a full-time job. Comes into bowl. And it's gone, fine leg, fumbles it a little bit, but not enough to concede a run.
So that was 9 off at another good patch there for Diamond Creek. They find themselves 3 for 73.
So this is the 11th over. We've had 10, and once again there's the swap over. So now they're going to be bowling from the court end, and so we're going to be seeing. So the left-handers, obviously, the left-hander's slog sweep shot is right towards us.
So they are sticking in the same tactics they had bowling at the pavilion and having the 2 men out for each shot. So I assume they're going to be still trying to attack the stumps, trying to get him out bowled or LBW.
So let's have it, there's mid, a straight mid on. So long on and long off, but long off is particularly straight, and then there's also a cow's corner and a deep cover.
He's going to come towards us, and will fall short. Barnett there at long on, but we'll see later on with the bat. His throw in is, well, if it was a little bit better, it probably would have been a run out there. Missed chance there from the Bulls.
Yeah, I'm not sure what went wrong there. What went wrong there?
It was probably a bit too flat for the direction. You either got to have it a little bit softer so the ball can take it, or at the stumps.
And tries to play it onto the leg side, but inside edge onto pads, and then on striker dawdling about.
So this is clearly a tactic here from our opening batsman. Probably knows he hasn't got 20 overs of fitness in him. Try and take as much strikes as he can while he's got his iron and his fitness up. Try and get as many maximums and boundaries. This should carry. Barnett's under it. That's very well.
What a catch! That is a great piece of bowling. He had to dive forward to get himself underneath the ball and then slide forward in order to make sure that he didn't collide with the ground. And so the left-handed opener, after doing so much, playing so well, has gone out through his favourite shot, hitting it in the air on the leg side. And
it's worth going for it though from a batting point of view there. Again, they did leave cow corner open, so if you did middle it, probably would have gone into that gap there for a boundary or a maximum, but didn't quite time it and gave Barnett a chance to take a catch there at long on.
What a great crowd we have here. So many people are just sitting around watching this game, sitting around the ground. It's truly, truly inspirational.
So now you've got your 5 and 6 in, and for T20 players you generally would have your reasonably sensible batsmen, but they still have the ability to go when time goes here, so probably your most well-rounded players should be at 5 and 6. And they also did cross as well, so keeping in mind that our fresh new batsman is going to be at the non-striker's end.
So 3 fielders in the deep, all of them for using a straight hit shot, and no one, and fine leg. So 4 on the fence. And works it, and the bowler cannot secure it, so it goes down into the deep in the mid-on area, 4-1.
So that Diamond Creek have lost their 4th wicket. Does it change the past score, do you think, too much, or do you think the wickets per over is still not too bad?
It's not going to reach a problem for at least another 2 wickets. Once you get into the 7, 8, 9 batting positions, then you think you can't score more than 5 runs per over, in which case you'd have to hope for 120. But right now, because they're going at 7 runs and over, which is ahead of what I would say the par is, comes into bowl. And pushes it with a very stiff front arm, and it goes to mid-on for a single.
Keeping the left-hand, right-hand combination as well there. So that's something that Diamond Creek are clearly focusing on. Trying to get that mix-up of batting hands.
And pushes it back to the bowler, and the mid-on fielder saves it.
So another tidy over there from the Bulldogs. First one for actually a little while. Diamond Creek at 4 for 77.
So let's see, the 12th over, and we're just figuring out the field. Still, there are 3 fielders on the fence through the straight drives, and then there's the 3rd man and fine leg are deep-ish. Comes into bowl and drives it, and the fielder at mid-off runs up. The 2 fielders at mid-off and long-off converge to save that one.
One of the other things you've got to think of as well from a bowling point of view is to see which tactic you want to go for your remaining overs. Normally bowlers will have a couple of overs remaining. Watch this delivery before we talk about further.
Into bowl, and it's on the toes, and he flicks it, and the older misfield.
Another misfield costing 1, that's the 2nd time. The other thing in terms of what we're just about for bowling, you can either go your best bowlers, bowling a couple each at that 17, 18, 19, 20, or mix and match and have them only bowl 1 at that point.
Into bowl, and he drives it. Ow, the fielder at the mid-on was able to save it. So a very good piece of fielding there. He's a very useful fielder. And drives it onto the offside, and the fielder at long off throws it in. Yeah, generally when you're playing club cricket and local cricket and village cricket, generally you would bowl your best bowlers first, because the odds are that you'll take enough wickets that you won't need to worry about the last 5 or so overs. Comes into bowl, and hit his pad and goes to the keeper for a dot ball. So generally, you just back your best bowlers to take enough wickets, and then you can bowl your second grade bowlers for the 19th, 20th, 18th over, and it doesn't matter because it won't cost anything because there's no one left to hit the runs.
So we've got our final bill here of the 12th over. Walking down the wicket and clipping into the leg side, a reasonably comfortable quick single there. And ends the 12th over. 5 runs off it, Diamond Creek at 4 for 82.
Okay, so this is the 13th over. That means that there's 8 to go. You'd score at least 6.5. Means that you'd want at least another 50 runs in the remaining time you've got left. And it's a wild shot, but thick outside edge, or thick bottom edge actually, so it gets fielded by the keeper for a dot ball, and they're sticking to the same field. The 3 are the cover, long on, long off, and oh no, they've changed it. Now they've got a deep mid wicket for the sort of cow's corner slog sweep for this session, and cover has come up. So now there's no one saving, there's just one fielder, which is the long off. No one else is saving the boundary on the offside.
Not a bad option, and
it's a wild swing. Batsman fell into that trap, thinking I'll expose that gap that they've left for me, and he misses it.
It's a good double bluff there. Clever captaincy in bowling.
Into bowl, and he drives it, makes contact this time, and he throws, scoops the ball right down the throat of that fielder at cover.
Well, as we just talked about the ball before, it was attacking to bring that man up there, meant that it gave the batsman an option of an out to try and get a boundary there, but also got an opportunity for a wicket, and I think Bundoora definitely needed a wicket there. And they've got it now, so Diamond Creek find themselves 5 wickets down. They're, again, probably not too concerned because they do bat deep, but again, probably reels it back for the opportunity to get 145, probably reels it back now to that 135 in terms of pass score.
And there's people sitting on the near the playground, on the bench. There's people sitting at the pavilion. There's people sitting along that long wall, which covers the western wing of this ground. There's people everywhere here.
As you see, I know you've been stuck at some grounds with not much of a crowd this summer there.
Oh.
I saw you were down at Shelley Park, I believe it was, the other week, and didn't get much of a crowd there.
No, and if you listen to my commentary, I point out that the entire park was empty other than the people playing cricket. No children in the playground, no one going for a walk. It was a dead park other than the people who were there to play cricket. So it was a very disturbingly quiet environment. So I think that now it gets a bit cautious because as he comes in the bowl, oh, and swing and a miss. Because the question obviously is, if I decide to play an aggressive shot, can I afford to go out? And when you're 5 down, comes into bowl and flicks it off his toes very nicely, and it goes into the mid-wicket region, and they just get the 1. And so now it gets a bit awkward because you think, oh, if I go out, then it's 6 wickets down. Does the lower order have enough potential to score the total? Maybe I should just play it safe.
And there's an example of it. That's a nice safe shot there. Probably always won despite the scampering there for a quick single. And that's the end of a really tight over. Bundoora have been right on top here the last 4 overs. Diamond Creek have waddled their way to 5 for 84.
So this is the 14th over of the innings. And we're quickly approaching the final 5. So in terms of setting yourself up for the final big slog at the end, these are the couple of overs of conservative work. As he leg glances it into the leg side. The deep mid-wicket fields it for 1 run, and with the right-hander on strike, they have the 3 fielders deep, mid, long on, long off, and then mid-wicket.
Pretty conservative field, but it's done the trick so far these last 4 overs. So.
And he throws it in very comfortably. And oh, and I think fine leg is on the fence, but that's mostly just as a defensive ploy, not. And he's swing and a miss. I don't think that the fine leg is there to actually save boundaries. He's just there to excuse bad bowling.
Well, I don't think you really want something like a 5 wides at this point if it happens to go past the keeper. So I agree with you. I think it's there just for the safety reasons.
Into bowl, and bowled.
Well, that's just really clever bowling there, and that's been the feature of Bundoora's fight back here. Not a great shot either, though. You probably have to read that slow ball a lot earlier than what he did there. Definitely try to play it at the very same pace there. That's why he found himself unstuck, and suddenly, Bulldogs are on top here.
Absolutely. Now we have to start worrying or wondering, like, what is Diamond Creek planning to do? Because we've said that their great strength is with their bowling, and they do bat very long, and so they would back themselves to be able to do whatever is needed with the ball, no matter what type of total they end up having to defend. But then again, I mean, now you have to wonder, like, can they make 120? Like, it starts to, like, wonder, you know, maybe the pass score isn't achievable.
Going to be an important partnership also, but 3 wickets in the last 4 overs has really been the feature of this fight back here. Been persistent captaincy, hasn't given up on these game plans, and these bowls are responding, so it's been a a good spread of
Yes.
reasons why they've done so well.
It's a conservative style of captaincy, but it definitely has paid off right now. And works it on his toes into the leg side. Square leg, throws it in, has a needless piff at the stumps. 1 run. The creeping shadow is now going over across the pitch. Comes into bowl and drives it to cover for a dot ball.
That's 3 runs off it, and it's the last over here of this innings here at the court end. Diamond Creek at 6 for 87.
Alrighty, so the final over from the court end, and once again it's the bowler we've seen already a lot today. Oh!
That's really cleverly played. They're using the pace of the ball, and that's one of the things that's a problem there when you're bowling quick on the small ground there, is that while certainly it's good to beat the batsman there with pace, if they get onto it, you can go over those short fieldsmen there, even if it doesn't necessarily get a lot of elevation. Just great use of the pace of the ball.
And it's the only type of shot we've seen from Diamond Creek this inning so far. This type of not trying to hit it in front of square, but trying to hit it behind.
Then men saying probably a couple of steps deeper here. Comes in
and drives it, and the fielder at long off runs around to save that one.
So that was actually the first boundary during this patch here at the court end, so it shows indeed how well they've done, but it shows how important that boundary is to try and get the momentum back for the Demons.
Into bowl and swings it across the line, and it goes down into the deep, and he has to run around, and he just oh no!
No, he's okay. It's come inside there. They might have a look at it on our replay, but otherwise I think he's okay. I think it'll just be the 2.
Well, definitely would have to look at that again on the highlights package.
Both long on and long off, saying 5 paces in, so they are trying to attempt the really lofted drive.
And slaps it down to long off for 1. I think this is good ideas from the Diamond Creek batsman. Now that you can't afford to slog and hit boundaries, if you can score 7 or 8 and over from just 1s and 2s, then you can make up the numbers, and then the occasional boundary, you can make up the numbers you would otherwise have gotten. And he drives it again to long off. That's the right stuff. That's so don't concede too many dot balls and try and get your scoring rate up, your scoring shot rate up, so that the bowler doesn't have any momentum through gathering lots of dot balls.
Final ball of this over. It's been clipped away through cow corner. Should only be kept to 1, and it certainly is there. So a big over for the Demons there, getting that momentum back. That was 10 off it, and finally the final over here at the court end. It's 6 for 97.
Alright, so the final 5. We are coming towards the end. Diamond Creek have how many wickets in hand?
They have 4 wickets in hand, and of course, as always, our final 5 overs are brought to you by 5-star wall removalists. If you need a pedal removed, don't just remove the door, remove the whole wall.
Thank you very much for that, Haydos. And let's just figure out what the Bundoora United captain is thinking here. Pretty much the same thing. Protect the bowl very full and protect the straight drive related shots.
Well, with the breeze now, here we're heading towards the pavilion, it's definitely one you have to do.
Gap over extra cover, because long off is very straight and then deep cover is very square. Comes into bowl. And it's a wild whoosh. So if you bowl a half volley, the batsman will have to get underneath it and lift it over the cover, and then to get a boundary around where the baseball diamond is. Comes into bowl and tries to play the dill scoop, and misses.
Probably a little bit silly, that shot there. Probably not time for those sort of scoopy shots there. You would have thought if you've already faced a dot ball or 2, that's where you try and work a single, get your partner on strike, who might be hitting it better.
The best time to play that sort of premeditated dill scoop shot is when you absolutely know that it's going to be a ball on the stumps. Comes into bowl.
Well, that's just as effective. This will roll away towards where we are here, into the sunlight, and this was actually very well fielded there. Should keep it to just the 3 there. So every run counts, especially in these T20s. Just never know when it's going to come down to those final moments.
Yep, and we absolutely saw that. That was a very good piece of fielding there.
That brings up also the 100 for Diamond Creek there, which is a very bare minimum here in these Northern Region T20s.
Yes. We'll worry about it at the end of the next over, projected scores.
That's actually fantastically played there. Not too sure why they haven't resumed protecting Cow Corner there. It's certainly a safe option for batsmen. They're using the pace of the ball and slightly wrong the wrist there. Probably a mistake there from the skipper there, and brings about another boundary.
Yes, and now it changes. Although it's late in the over, so there's not much you can do about it now. But getting two heavy shots in 2 consecutive balls is something. Oh dear, drop catch.
Our first drop catch of the afternoon, but that's also do us a tough chance there, even for this high level standard cricket.
That's drop catches brought to you by Pie Man. Comes into bowl and comfortably leg lances it, and
yep, put into that gap there. Always hard when you start right on the fence there, which they probably have to protect the boundary. Probably means there's 2s on offer. So that's the end of the 16th over. There was 9 off that one at 6 for 106.
Okay, so this is the 17th over. Oh! And they get a 1 there. So that means that there are, let's see, 4 overs minus 1, so 23 balls left. You would expect 30 runs from these 23 balls?
30 would be the minimum for Diamond Creek, so that would be taking them to the 135 and 140s, and that would be a really good score.
Comes into bowl and drives it straight to cover, and they decide not to go for it.
It's probably the one as well there, that if they do hit it to that cover or even at mid-wicket there, it is still going to be a dot ball, but everything else should be a 1.
So the big gaps, I'd have to say, are the extra mid-wicket region, or the wide long on, and the same one I talked about, extra cover.
And that's actually really poor option there from the bowler. The last thing you want to do at any point at this stage, let alone now, is give away overthrows. And we know in this form of the game, batsmen are much more prepared for the overthrows, especially when the non-striker, who's already ready for an extra run, is easily prepared. And the batsman who's actually down on the ground in that instance has more time to get back as it comes to the keeper's end.
Yeah, absolutely. So, comes into bowl, and it's a big shot, and
that's another drop catch, and that will be a much important boundary there, and it's pretty costly, isn't it, especially in this form of the game, that probably a matter of millimetres difference between a wicket and a 4.
Absolutely, and right now, because Bundoora United are bowling so full and fast, and the Diamond Creek batsmen are hitting it very low on the bat and very fast back at the straight hit areas, you have to be expecting it.
This will be coming across to mid-wicket, although that's some thick grass across there. It's either going to be 2 or 1, you're not going to get any boundaries hitting right on the ground there.
Sticking with the same field.
Field itself seems okay, maybe change of personnel, having your best catches.
I haven't seen many changes of pace, which is surprising. Comes into bowl. And another time to try and flick it onto the leg side, and some very bad umpiring, bad batting, trying to get in the way of the bowler.
Well, one thing keep in mind is that he actually is out.
Yes, even though he did try to get in the way, which he probably would have been out anyway, with distracting the field or whatever it's called.
Field structure of the field. I'm sure if you ask Alex Ross, I'm sure he'll tell you all about that there. But look, you probably still want to be on the hunt for those ones, because all it takes is your partner responding to get the leg by, and then opens up things like overthrows, or even if you get bat onto it, opens up the door for 2. But there's still probably enough batting in the last couple of wickets there to get through the last 3 and still get a runner ball, so not a bad option. But that's also the end of the 17th over at 7 for 114.
So, 3 overs to go now. And we can see some Diamond Creek players packing up their stuff. No doubt either rushing or realising they have to bat now and trying to get their stuff on, or they've been dismissed and have to get their stuff off. But in either case,
they're at their kit.
comes into bowl and pushes it onto the offside, down to third man for 1.
And this is the importance of being able to bat deep there. Even if you've got some of your B grade and even potentially thirds players in your team there, you make sure that your 9s and 10s are still capable of getting bat on ball there. You generally can find that during your first time you've got enough all-rounders in the top 6 that you can afford just a flat-out batsman at number 9.
So, is this the new batsman?
It certainly is there.
So let's see what they're...
Our third left-hander of the match so far.
So they're sticking pretty much to the same style of field. Comes into bowl and tries to clip it onto the leg side, but straight to mid-wicket.
Definitely just need to minimise the boundaries here, Bundoora, just to keep it to that 125, 130 score. That's up and over, and well, it's another commentator's curse on fire this afternoon. Using the pace of the ball there. One of the key examples of it, we saw the flick over third man when they were coming from this end here at the court end. Using the pace of the ball fantastically, and it's always a hard catch for the fine leg, but otherwise it's ball.
Yeah, but it's quite a fancy little flick shot, nothing...
And all over the stats, of course. That's the first boundary off the third ball of the over in this innings.
Comes into bowl. Oh, very good ball there. Definitely Bundoora United's tactic has been to bowl very fast and full throughout this innings. Very few bounces, very few slower balls, no spin. Comes into bowl.
And that's one thing that Diamond Creek can expect to do, is change up with some tweakers. Even if it's not for necessarily a full 4 over the patch, just to change up the pace there. Won't be all seen this evening from them.
It's surprising because to never take the pace off the ball in a 2020 game, you're backing both your fielding to be in the right position and your bowlers to be superior at all times, and puts it into the offside and they get the 1. Because as long as your bowlers are bowling faster than the batsman can hit it, then you're obviously going to get out of it.
Exactly right there. And that's the end of 18, it's 7 for 121.
Alright, so it's the 19th over, so 12 balls to go, and squirts it into the offside. They get the 1 run there.
And I think that's just going to be a bare minimum for Diamond Creek there to pick up 11 more singles, which brings them to 133, and then a boundary or so will get up above 135.
Yes, I think right now they should be aiming for 135 as what we are capable of doing at this situation, and then if something goes great, then you get a 140 score. And slaps it too long on for 1.
They did recognise the use of the pace before and did drop out fine legs, so they are still responding there to the shots and not just relying on the same field over and over again.
It's not even time to talk about the field because he comes into bowl again and slaps it. Too long on, throws it in, just the 1. So, Diamond Creek will be comfortable with this situation, and so will Bundoora United.
It's a game of chess at the moment, isn't it?
It's too late for Bundoora United to restrict Diamond Creek for anything small, and so it's just a matter of holding an offer.
That has carried quite a long way, and that's actually has been caught. So that's one of the things of hitting with the breeze there. Even if you're trying to chip it, it can carry there. Carried 3/4 of the way to boundary. As we know, both the long on and long off started off the cones there. So good choice of field placements. They know it's probably not going to race away the boundary with the thick grass. It's more about the 8th wicket.
Yes. So despite it being 8 wickets down, you can't just bowl out Diamond Creek and then with the remaining balls left, Diamond Creek are lamenting we didn't take up we didn't use up all our overs. It's too late in the game, and so wickets are not important right now. It's just a matter of restricting the run scoring to just 1 run per ball. And that's with a dot ball, so that's even a greater advantage.
Into a similar field there. Although getting the last 2 wickets would help if they can even just take away a few deliveries. You never know when it could come in handy from the run chase.
Into bowl.
This should be caught. It's high, it's up. He's held onto it, so... Well, there's another wicket there, and maybe they will still be able to have an opportunity.
Yeah, okay. Well, if they do take the final wicket in this over, that would at least give them 6 balls, which Diamond Creek didn't face, and that would be something. That would be something.
Probably also momentum as well there. We talk about it a lot in these shorter formats, and you can have the momentum. It can help carry around.
And they're just rushing off to their fielding positions, so there's just not enough time to use the camera to scan across the ground. You just have to get back into the action with the remaining balls in this over.
Well, that's why our camera gets paid the big bucks, eh?
Comes into bowl and tries to work with a quick single, and there is a gap there. End of the over.
First in, this is 19th over. Diamond Creek find themselves 9 for 125.
Alright, so here we go, the final over of the innings, and it's 9 wickets down, and so it's just a matter of holding operation for Bundoora United, get through this over as cheaply as possible, and for Diamond Creek it's don't lose the last wicket, and then try to score at least 6 runs. Comes into bowl, and it's an inside edge, it goes down to fine leg, and the keeper is the one who is able to stop it from going any further.
Again, it's a bit like that game of chess there. Probably having 6 runs off the over favours both teams, if anything, there. It means Diamond Creek just finished on 131. So, yes, I think both teams will be fine with that. So,
comes into bowl, and it's a play and a miss, and it hits his pad, I believe, and it goes down to third man. And what's the umpire's call?
Maybe an inside edge.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Looking after the tail and making sure they don't finish on a duck.
And there are parrots screaming right above our heads. Comes into bowl, and that is the end of the innings. Diamond Creek have been bowled out. Now that the final wicket has fallen, we can see that Diamond Creek have been dismissed for a score of 127, which you would have to say is slightly below par. I did say that a par score would be about 130 to 135. This is definitely, although that this ground definitely favours some elements of high-scoring batting, the fact that it is very short square of the wicket, the fact that some of the AstroTurf will be rough because of leaves and dirt. The fact of the matter is that it is still an AstroTurf pit, AstroTurf ground, and you can organise your defensive bowling in a way that makes batting not always the easiest. The fact that if you because it's slightly deeper, straight of a wicket, it means that if you can bowl full and have fielders in long off and long on protecting the straight hit, it means that you actually are able to restrict the way that scoring happens through quite a large proportion of the overall innings, and so it comes to the point where you're not actually conceding as many runs, and your loose balls do not cost you anything, and you're able to get away with a lot. And so those are the factors that mean that despite it being a relatively small ground, you can't actually score the huge totals here at Loyola Park. But then again, because it is small, because the ball will get roughed up because of the dirt that's stuck inside the AstroTurf, it means that this is not going to be a 110, 120 pitch. So the pass score, somewhere in the middle, in the 130s, seems to be just about right. And so with that in mind, you would think that Diamond Creek is slightly less than what they would have wanted. I'm sure that they would have wanted to get into the 130s and been very happy if they had gotten anything more like 135 to 140. So in the end, I would say that Diamond Creek would be reasonably pleased with what they have scored, and Bundoora United will be very excited. I think that most of the advantage is with Bundoora United. They definitely can chase down this total. This is a chaseable score, and so most of the advantage will go into the hands of Bundoora United. But the fact of the matter is that with this being a semi-final game, with the factors of like scoreboard pressure, the trouble of actually being able to perform on the day, it does mean that there is a opportunity of Diamond Creek being able to defend this score through being able to hold their nerve. So that's a quick summary of who I think has the advantage. Definitely in terms of a percentage over 100, I would say that Bundoora United are probably 70 and Diamond Creek are 30. Definitely the greater advantage is with Bundoora, but there is enough there for Diamond Creek to work with that they should consider themselves a chance to win this game. Alright, let's take a break now, and when we come back we have the response by Bundoora United chasing Diamond Creek's score of 127. Just don't go away, because after this break we will see the rest of this game of cricket.